Everyone ignored the starving German shepherd. But when a baby stopped, staring with wide, innocent eyes, no one could have imagined what he'd do next. In that instant, a small gesture would teach an entire city the meaning of compassion. The sidewalk was alive with noise, horns blaring, shoes scuffing, people talking loudly into their phones. Everyone had somewhere to be, and no one had time to notice the broken creature pressed against the brick wall near the corner. The German shepherd sat with his head bowed low, ribs etched into the canvas of his thin sides. His fur was patchy and dull, clinging in clumps to the sharp angles of his bones. One ear twitched whenever someone passed too close, but he didn't lift his eyes. He had learned long ago that people rarely meant kindness. A group of teenagers walked by, their laughter sharp and careless. One of them paused to snap a photo on her phone, muttering something about that ugly stray, before hurrying on. No one stopped to offer water. No one wondered how long he'd been waiting for someone who would never come. Some stepped around him, disgust in their eyes. Others never looked at all. He was part of the street now, like the litter swept into the gutter, a forgotten fixture in a city that had decided he didn't matter. Hours passed. The shadows stretched long across the sidewalk, and the dog's head sank lower with each fading minute, as if the weight of being unseen had finally become too heavy to bear. It might have stayed that way forever, if not for the smallest soul on that busy street. Among the sea of legs and hurried footsteps, a tiny pair of shoes stopped at the edge of the sidewalk. A baby, no more than 18 months old, stood still, a plastic bottle clutched in his chubby hand. His round, blue eyes locked on the German shepherd with an expression no one else had shown that day. Wonder. His mother was several steps ahead, distracted by her phone and the swirl of pedestrians weaving around her. She didn't notice at first that her son wasn't toddling behind. The baby shifted the bottle to his other hand, and took a cautious step forward. The dog didn't react, too beaten down by days of hunger and loneliness to lift his head. The baby looked from the animal, to the bottle, and back again, as if trying to decide what to do. "Come on, sweetheart," his mother called, glancing over her shoulder. She gave the stroller a gentle tug, but the baby didn't move. Instead, he let the bottle slip from his fingers. It rolled to a stop a few inches from the dog's paw. The shepherd flinched at the sound, but still didn't look up. The baby took another step. His mother's voice rose, nervous now, but he didn't hear her. To him, nothing else in the world existed but that sad, silent dog. A dog who needed someone, anyone, to see him. His tiny shoes tapped against the pavement as he closed the last bit of space between them. His mother's heart jumped into her throat. She hurried forward, but something about the stillness of the moment made her stop, just short of scooping him up. Around them, the city began to slow. A woman pushing a shopping cart paused. A delivery driver set his box down on the curb, curiosity softening his frown. For the first time all day, the German shepherd wasn't invisible. The baby reached out a tentative hand. The dog's ears flattened. His body curled tighter into itself, bracing for a blow or a shout. A few voices cried out, "Careful, he could bite. Ma'am, grab your kid." But the mother didn't move. She saw how her son's tiny hand didn't tremble, how his wide, innocent eyes held no fear. The baby crouched in that clumsy, toddler way. His hand hovered just above the matted fur. He didn't flinch when the shepherd let out a soft, weary growl. Instead, he looked into those sorrowful eyes, and did something no one else had done all day. He smiled. The dog's growl faded into a low, uncertain whine. His nose twitched, and slowly, painfully, he lifted his head to truly see the child. For the first time in hours, the German shepherd realized he was not alone. A hush fell over the sidewalk. It was as if the whole city held its breath. The baby leaned forward, hand still outstretched, and gently, so gently, he placed his palm against the shepherd's sun-warmed fur. The dog froze. Every muscle went rigid, braced for pain. But there was no shove, no harsh word. Just the warmth of a hand so tiny, it barely spanned the space between his shoulders. Someone in the crowd whispered, "Oh my God," their voice cracked with awe. The baby's mother pressed a hand to her chest. torn between fear and the fragile miracle unfolding before her. The shepherd lifted his head fully now, eyes locked on the child's face. For a moment, he simply stared, unblinking, as if he couldn't quite believe the gentleness was real. And then, a single tear rolled down the baby's cheek. Maybe it was the way the dog looked at him, like he was the first soul who'd ever seen past the dirt and fear. Or maybe it was something deeper, something that needed no words. The shepherd let out a shuddering sigh, and pressed his head against the baby's knee, a quiet surrender. The crowd was utterly silent. No one lifted a phone. No one dared to speak. In that instant, compassion became contagious. The baby's legs wobbled as he sat down on the grimy sidewalk. He picked up his bottle, now dirty, half empty, and held it out like an offering. The dog sniffed it cautiously, his nose brushing the baby's chubby fingers. A soft whimper escaped his throat, the last of his defenses melting away. And then, with heartbreaking trust, the German shepherd laid his head in the baby's lap. A woman in the crowd covered her mouth to stifle a sob. No one moved to stop them. No one had the heart. The baby's mother knelt beside her son, tears filling her eyes. She reached out, resting a trembling hand on the dog's back. She could feel every ragged bone beneath the filthy fur. Her throat tightened. "It's okay," she whispered, voice cracking. "You're okay now." The baby's free hand patted the shepherd's head. Slowly, gently, without fear. And for the first time in a long, long time, the dog believed her. With careful strokes, he continued. Every time he touched him, the dog seemed to breathe a little easier, like an invisible weight was slowly lifting from his chest. Then, a delivery driver finally spoke, his voice hushed. "I've never seen anything like this." No one had. For one breathtaking moment, the city's noise seemed to fall away. There was no traffic, no rushing footsteps, no cynicism, just a child's innocent kindness, and a dog learning, inch by inch, that not all hands were cruel. And in that stillness, even the hardest hearts cracked open. A gentle voice broke the silence. "I work with a rescue," a woman said, stepping forward from the small crowd. She wore a blue jacket with a faded paw print on the sleeve, and eyes that had clearly seen too many broken animals. "If it's all right, I'd like to help him." "The babies," the mother said softly. She looked up, tears finally spilling over. "Please," she whispered, "he needs someone." The woman knelt, extending her hands slowly so the German shepherd could sniff her fingers. This time, he didn't shrink away. He lifted his tired eyes to meet hers, as though he already understood she was there to save him. Together, they coaxed him to his feet. His legs were unsteady, trembling, but then the baby clapped his hands in encouragement, and the shepherd took a step forward. Then another. The woman gently slipped a soft slip lead over his neck. "We'll get him to a vet, clean him up," she promised. She glanced at the baby and smiled tenderly. "You did something very brave today." The mother gathered her son into her arms, pressing a kiss into his hair. He looked over her shoulder, watching the dog walk toward the rescue van. As the shepherd was gently lifted inside, he turned back once. For the briefest moment, his gaze found the child's, and his tail gave a small, hopeful wag. The mother held her son close. In that instant, she knew he had reminded the world of something it too often forgets.
If this tale moved you, if you felt the tension, the heartbreak, and the triumph, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring more thrilling, emotional, and inspiring stories your way. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Do you believe dogs have an extraordinary sixth sense? Share your thoughts and personal stories with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.